Ashtanga Yoga. It's a beautiful, powerful, meditative practice, and it's one that you can continue during pregnancy. However, there are some things that you need to modify, change a little bit, adapt to the changing situation in your body. Ashtanga is a warm, a heated practice that we create heat within that's very transformational, and that is something that we don't need to create so much fire when there's actually a lot of transformation going on inside anyway. So I'm here to present an adapted primary series with some general principles about things that we should change during pregnancy. It's what I've been doing with the advice of my teachers, and I'd like to share it with you as a guide so you can continue this practice throughout your pregnancy, and because it provides such grounding, such stability and such connection to your body and mind, that is really a support and an inspiration throughout this whole magical period. So a few principles to begin with. Number one, the breath is the most important thing always. So in Ashtanga Yoga we practice a strong textural Ujjayi breath, and there are different thoughts on this. Some people say that Ujjayi is still okay, but generally my teachers have recommended to me, and also I've found as a general recommendation, that Ujjayi should be left behind during pregnancy, as it's very heating for the body, and also it can create a vacuum inside. So what I do, and I have been doing, is there is still some kind of strength to the breath, which is going to support you through the practice, but it's not going to be quite so strong. It's not going to be that dong. We're not going to do that strong Ujjayi pranayama during the Ashtanga practice. Just you can think about just a normal deep breath that will support you through the movements. Secondly, bandha. So obviously there's a lot going down here. Uddiyana bandha is completely out, and mula bandha also, we're not pulling up and in. We are really basically having a much more responsive relationship with the pelvic floor in general during pregnancy. And so that strong mula bandha that you would use usually in your Ashtanga practice, it's not something that we're going to do now. And in particularly at first, it can feel a little bit like, oh my goodness, like what am I doing actually now? Since you don't have the support of that strong Ujjayi breath, and you don't have the support of your mula and your Uddiyana bandhas, we also don't really do, we can do Jalandhara bandha, but it's not so much, right? And the thing is that Jalandhara bandha, when you do it, there's a tendency to kind of, mula just kind of comes on at the same time. So we kind of try to soften that as well. So since we don't have those supports, we take our time during the sequence. We move more slowly and generally use an inward focus where we listen to our body and what feels okay as we move around the mat and through the sequence. Yeah, so we don't lose that Tristana, even though we've lost like the Ujjayi breath and we've lost the bandha. We still have an inward focus, which is happening anyway during the whole process of pregnancy. So what else? Generally, as we'll see, we're going to make space for the belly. We're going to keep the legs wide. Twists, we're going to be very careful with those. There are adaptations to those. And anything where, for example, Lotus is we don't take the heel up towards the belly because we want to make space here. Even in the first trimester. So generally also I should say it's not recommended to practice during, or at least strongly during first trimester, because we don't want to interfere. We want the embryo to embed in the uterus and things like that, and we don't want to interfere with that process while things are still quite delicate and fragile. I was doing primary series occasionally modified during the first trimester, although I kind of was basically taking it very easy, and I certainly didn't go to Mysore class. So as ever, and throughout this whole thing, listen to your own body. Obviously, I hope that you have been cleared for exercise by your doctors, and you shouldn't be undertaking any physical strong practice, certainly without that go ahead. And so Listen to your body, and even though I'll provide notifications as we go, if anything feels wrong, just stop. Okay, stop and have a seat. Take a pause, because you're practicing for 2 now, and I'm sure your baby will be delighted, because mine always gives me a nice little friendly kick at the end, like, okay, cool. I'm sure your baby will be delighted, but know that you are caring for 2. So keep your wits about you as we go. Now, as you can see here, I have a couple of props that can be helpful. Blocks, definitely use blocks. We need 1 or 2, so you'll see how we can use that. Strap also can be useful. And I really like to use a bolster for a couple of things towards the end, because reclining is something that can be tricky and problematic during pregnancy, and certainly going upside down. So a bolster can help us do that. If you don't have a bolster at home, then you can use a pillow or 2 or a rolled up blanket, and indeed the blocks can stand in for that. But otherwise, we'll just get going, and you'll see as we go how we can modify this beautiful practice to fit in with this beautiful period. So enjoy. So we begin with the opening chant as ever. Vande Gurunam Charanarvinde Sandarshita Svatma Sukhavabodhe Nishreyase Jangale Kalimane Samsara Halla Halla Mohashanti Abahu Purushakaram Shankachakrasi Daharanam Sahasra Shirasam Shvetam Pranamami Patanjalim. So we come to the top of the mat, Samstitihi. We can begin with the feet together and reach the arms up, inhale. Then as we exhale, take the feet as wide as the mat. Make lots of space as you fold. Inhale here. You can keep your fingers on the floor or take the hands to the shins. Extend the spine, look forward. Exhale, plant the hands. We step back into a plank. Here, especially for the first one, or indeed throughout, you can take your knees down as we find Chaturanga. Still keep the tailbone tucking and the chest open. Here, staying on the knees, making sure you make space for the belly. Press down with the feet though, engage the quads to send the pubic bone forward. Let the chest lift, roll the shoulders back. Take it easy, don't go too deep. Especially if a stretch across the belly doesn't feel good. Also here, as you see, you can practice your upward facing dog with some blocks underneath the top of the thighs. That's good. So inhale here. As you exhale, place the knees back down onto the floor. Then we, from here, press back into downward facing dog. Here we stay for 5 breaths. So take your feet nice and wide. Make space for your belly. Pressing into the fingertips. Rolling the shoulders away from the ears. The upper body can get quite tense during pregnancy. So maintain that stability here by wrapping the shoulder blades to the outside edges of the body. You can have a bend in the knees, send the hips high. Slight tucking of the ribs in, although we don't draw the navel to the spine. We keep space. Take one more breath in. Exhale. Inhale, look forward to the front of the mat. We step one foot, then the other. With care, inhale. Exhale, the feet are still wide. Hold. Press the feet. Take the arms all the way up. Gaze thumbs. Exhale. Samasthiti. 2 more times we'll do sun salutation. Inhale. Exhale. Taking your time, let the breath lift you. Inhale. Gaze forward. Exhale. Plant the hands. Step back. Come down to the knees. Keep the chest open. Chaturanga. Draw the tailbone down. Here again, you can use your blocks for your upward facing dog. Or you could use the second yoga mat rolled up underneath. Press down the feet, engage the quad muscles. Draw your pubic bone forward, let the chest be open. Here, breathe in. Exhale, place the knees down. Step back, downward facing dog. So again, 5 breaths. You can let the gaze come to the navel. Even though we're not doing anything with this space here, we're keeping everything free and open. You can have a bend in the knees as well. Pressing down into the balls of the feet, inner thighs come towards each other, and again, making space by pressing out onto the outside edge of the hands, to the pinky side of the hands. Next breath in, we look forward. Take steps to the front of the mat. Inhale. Exhale, fold. Press the feet. Inhale, arms all the way up. Exhale. Samasthiti. Last one. Press the feet. Inhale, gaze thumbs. Exhale, feet wide. Inhale. Exhale. If you feel okay here, you can experiment with a full chaturanga, keeping the knees lifted. But really listen to your body. And upward facing dog, if it feels okay. For me, it felt better as I went on later. In first trimester, I wasn't doing this at all. In first trimester, I definitely was staying with the blocks here. And I recommend you stay with whatever feels stable for you. But it can be very nice to find that opening in the chest here. Don't overstretch across the front of the belly. Go to like 60 or 70% of what you would usually. Exhale, we bend the knees. Come back. Downward facing dog. The neck long. The hips moving to the sky. The armpits getting deep. The breath, even though it's not so textured, it's still deep. So you think about breathing around to the back surface of the ribs even. Inhale, look forward. Halfway lift. And fold. Press the feet. Arms come all the way up. Exhale. Samasthiti. Here we can pause. Check into how you're feeling. The heartbeat is already elevated, so we don't want to go too fast. And you'll notice now in pregnancy, you don't need as much as you used to. So take your time. Now, for Surya B, we take the feet wider, forward Utkatasana. I like to take a block and place it between the thighs, so we still get that squeeze. Also, we want to do that, helps with the stability of the pelvic floor and the lower back. So press down your feet, bend the knees, put your block between your hands, between your knees, and then reach the hands forward. I like to keep my hands separated here since the knees are separated, but you can take the palms together if it feels okay. One breath. Exhale, move your block. Take your feet as wide as the mat, fold. Inhale. Then we step back. So since we have 3 chaturangas here, I recommend placing your knees down, finding your gentle back bend. Exhale, come back, downward facing dog. Place the left heel onto the floor. Quite like to use the fingertips, there's less space. Take your right foot forward. Now it doesn't have to go quite so far. Press down the left heel. Make sure you're stable before you come up. Inhale. Exhale, flatten the hands. Again, knees down, chaturanga. Inhale your back bend. Roll the shoulders back. Press the quads. Exhale, bend the knees. Here your right heel comes down to the floor. Then step your left foot forward. Make sure you're grounded in the feet before you come up. Also, you've got wider stance. Inhale. Exhale. Plant the hands. Step left foot back. Again here, let's use the knees. Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Here, let it be a settling. As you lengthen the back surface of the body at the top, so the upper body and the back surface of the body in the lower part, spreading the hips away from each other. But again, letting your belly be free. Look forward, step the feet forward, inhale to lengthen, exhale, feet nice and wide, we fold. Press the feet, get your block, place it back between your knees, and then we reach up. Exhale. Good. So if it feels okay, we can do twice more. Bend the knees. Inhale. Exhale. Feet wide. Inhale. Exhale. The plank. And then knees down. Chest open, tail tucked. Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. So you can see in upward facing, I keep my knees down. So we're not stretching too much, not creating too much pressure across the lower belly. Left heel down, right foot forward. Inhale to come up. Ground that back foot down. Any extra grounding you can create during pregnancy is just what we need. Right foot steps back. Chaturanga. Inhale. Press the feet, quads lift. Exhale. Right heel comes down, left foot forward. Again, ground the back foot. Inhale. Then exhale. Step back. Let's use the knees. Chest stays open. Inhale. So even though we're not doing a normal upward facing dog, can we still make it about the legs by lifting and spiraling those quads towards each other? Rolling the shoulders back to let the chest be open. Exhale. Come back, downward facing dog. 5 breaths. Inhale, look forward. Take steps. So we don't jump at all. Never. Exhale. We fold. Bend the knees, take your block. Inhale. Exhale. Samasthiti. Okay, last time. Bend your knees. Reach forward. Exhale. Look forward. Inhale. Exhale. Plant the hands. Chaturanga variation. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Left heel to the floor, right foot forward. Left heel presses down. Reach the arms. Plant the hands, step right foot back. Last one, knees down. Inhale. So it's a marathon this, not a sprint. Right heel comes down, left foot forward. Patience is something we cultivate anyway in our pregnant journey. It's going to stand us in good stead later. So even if you're used to a much stronger version of this, Chaturanga. Here we cultivate patience as we get used to adjusting. We practice non-attachment to the way that things used to be, our idea about how things were. So 2 more breaths. Look forward. Inhale. And then exhale. Again, bend the knees. Drive heels down. Place that block. Reach forward. Inhale. Exhale. Samasthiti. Well done. So here again you can take a pause. Make sure you're not overheating. So I should say, although during Ashtanga usually, during a practice we don't drink water, in pregnancy you're allowed to do that. Also, we don't practice on an empty stomach. As for me, like if I don't eat for a longer period of time, I get feeling quite unwell. So it's recommended that pregnant women eat every 2 hours or so. So a light snack before practice is allowed. Okay, we move forward. Take the feet wide. Hands to the hips. Press the feet down. Lift the chest. Exhale. We fold. So feet as wide as they need to be. And then we grab the big toes. Press the big toes down. So you've got plenty of space here. Press the big toes down, inhale to lift. And then as you exhale, elbows go wide, fold. Pressing more into the balls of the feet. Now again, you maybe don't go as deep as you used to. That's totally fine. So you start to feel your edge. And we are not approaching it. Whereas before, we would push and maybe, try to go further and try to find new space in a shape. That's not what we're doing now. We're not creating new, progress in the practice. We're maintaining. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, take the feet to step onto the hands, toes coming all the way up to the wrists. Again, press down to look forward. Then, as we exhale, we fold. Lengthening the back of the body all the way from the heels to the crown of the head. Shoulders moving away from the ears, again making space. Deep breath. Without that texture at the back of the throat, still can be supporting. Look forward. Release the hands, take the hands back to the hips. Press the heels down, come all the way up to stand. Exhale. Good. We step, not jump out with the feet. Right foot out, facing the back of the mat. Already again, we find those strong legs that are going to hold us to the arms wide. Exhale, we go forward. Now, if it feels okay, you can get the toe if you used to get the toe. Otherwise, it's totally fine to stay high. Hand on the shin. We don't want to be compromising. If the toe is available for you, then you can reach wrap the fingers around that big toe, press the toe down like we did, and then left hand reaches up. Left shoulder pulling back, left hip pulling back. 5 breaths here. So strengthening the side body in pregnancy is totally fine and good. Something that will make you feel a lot more stable. And keep those feet grounding down. Exhale, look down. Inhale, come back up. Right foot in, left foot out. Then we go forward. Getting the big toe if it's available. Again, staying high. Listening to your body. If you need to stay high, that's what you can do. So that right hip is wrapping back, right shoulder wrapping back. Lower ribs tucking in, although not too much, because again, we're keeping space for that belly. But if you've got the toe, the left toe presses down into your 2 first fingers. And 5, exhale, look down. Inhale, come up. Now, Purvottanasana, we turn around to the back. We have options for this. What I like to do is use a block. Take the feet wide as the mat. So your hips are going to be square. Here, you can go forward, leaving plenty of space for the belly. No closed twists whatsoever. You can keep your left hand here. Hips square. Maybe you keep your right hand on your hip as you turn your right shoulder to the ceiling. In fact, you can just totally skip this and stay here. If you would like to, if it feels okay, you can make space like this, reaching the right hand up. We're still aiming to pull the right hip back if you can, and micro bend in the right, and you can help with that, reaching the crown of the head away from the center of the pelvis. Exhale, look down. Inhale, we come back up. So take the feet to the outside edges of the mat again. Now here again, we place the block down onto the floor, squaring that left hip back. And here you can stay, or if it feels okay, and be careful, like you don't really need to go the full twist. The most important thing is that we keep space here and that feels all right. So left hip can pull back and left hand come up towards the ceiling. Engaging the back, heel pressing it down into the floor, keeping grounded there. Exhale. Inhale, come back up. Exhale. Samastiti. Purvottanasana. Step out with the right foot. Maybe you don't go as far as you used to, but we line up the heel and the arch, placing the block down on the outside edge of the foot. So here, as you bend the knee, you can reach forward and place the hand down on the block because we want to leave space here for all this good stuff, right? Press the knee against the bicep, outer edge of the left foot presses down, reaching with the left hand, keeping it free so the shoulder blade comes all the way around so the left ear and left shoulder still have space. Gaze to the left palm, pressing down the feet. Exhale. Inhale, we come up, take the block with you, right foot in, left foot out. Bending the left knee, placing the block on whatever height you need on the outside of the foot. Press the hand down, left knee wrapping into the left bicep, outer edge of right foot pressing down, then reach that right hand up and over. So that knee pressing, the left knee pressing against the left bicep, right kneecap lifting, still cultivating strong legs. We need those to support us as things are growing here. And it will support the pelvis through all the changes that are going on. Exhale, loop down. Inhale, come back up. Now, for the twisted, we change this quite a lot. Begin with the left knee down onto the floor, step the right foot out to the outside edge of the mat, making plenty of space. Here you can take the left hand down towards the floor. And from here we can twist, an open twist, keeping loads of space for that belly. Left shoulder moving down away from that left ear, so we're not collapsing down into left hand. And here we can gaze up to the right hand. Here, if you like, you can stay, or if it feels okay, you can lift the back knee. Let the right heel do so much work, pressing down into the floor. And underneath here, the left armpit's wrapping down, so we're not collapsing down into the left shoulder. Left kneecap lifting as well if your knee is lifted. Exhale, come down. Don't want to spend too long there. We swap it over. Take the right foot now to the outside edge of the mat and left foot forward. Right knee down. And then the right hand comes down. You could also take your hand to the block here if it gives you more space, that's quite nice. Then wrapping the left hand up towards the ceiling. Whole chest, whole belly, whole everything is open, open, open. You can think about sending the breath all the way down to the back ribs. Exhale, look down. We come back. Samastiti. Purvottanasana. We can do this almost exactly the same, or exactly the same in fact, as usual. Hands to the hips, inhale to lift. Exhale, we fold, take the hands to the floor, in line with the feet if that's available, if that's how you practice. Inhale first to lift the chest. Then as we exhale, take the head down towards the floor, elbows wrapping towards each other. So wide leg forward fold. It's a real lovely thing that you can do during pregnancy to take the pressure off the head. Cultivate strong legs. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, hands to hips. Inhale, come all the way up to stand. Exhale there. Inhale, arms wide. Exhale, hands to hips. Lift the chest. Exhale to fold. Elbows coming up towards the ceiling. Crown of the head descending to the floor. Strong feet, balls of feet pressing down. Back of hips spiraling towards the ceiling. Shoulders free away from the ears. Inhale, press the feet, come all the way up to stand. Exhale there. Inhale, arms wide. Exhale, interlace the fingers behind your back. Open up the chest. Then exhale, we go forward. Softening the elbows, softening the shoulders, softening the neck. Now here, if you used to be reaching with your hands towards the floor, you can give that a break for the next few months. Everything in the practice is like 60%. We're maintaining. Making space. Okay. Press the feet, inhale, come all the way up to stand. Exhale. And inhale. Exhale, hands to hips, and we fold. Take the big toes. Press the feet down, inhale, half lift. Then exhale, elbows go wide. So we take the head down the way. Again, making space for the shoulders, cultivating strength in the upper body. Pressing down with those big toes into the fingers. Inhale, forward. Exhale, hands to hips. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, Samastitihi. Purvottanasana. So here, almost the same. Hands come back behind you. Step out with the right foot. Now, difference is we take the feet nice and wide if we want to make space. And we don't need to go all the way, and we don't take the belly towards the right thigh. We go between. So we're still grounding down that left heel, the back heel. Inhale to lift the chest. As we exhale, we go forward. Now I quite like here to actually stay. So you're not going to get down folding over that front leg anyway, so you might as well just stay here. Gaze to the right big toe, pressing the hands, wrapping shoulders back, wrapping right hip back. Grounding the back heel down and lengthening the crown away from the centre of the pelvis. And press the feet, inhale. Right foot in, left foot out. Take left foot to the outside edge of the mat and right foot. Again, square off those hips. Use the back heel to ground down. Lift up and towards the chest. And exhale, here we go forward. Staying parallel with the floor. For me, a micro bend in the left knee helps to pull the left hip back. As you progress through the pregnancy, you might notice more bendiness as the relaxin spreads through your body, particularly around the hips. So regulate that with bending, micro bends, so you can get into the muscle again. So you're still engaging the muscles of the legs and stabilizers of the hips here. Okay, inhale, come up. Exhale. Samastitihi. Purvottanasana. So this is a great one, however, it's slightly modified. Left hand to left hip, take your right big toe. And we extend as far as you usually would. If you're working with a bent knee, then you can do that. Now, delightfully, we don't have to fold because there's no space to do so, and it's just the same as Purvottanasana. So press the big toe into the fingers, strengthen the left leg. Then as you inhale, we take the foot out towards the right, gaze towards the left. Pulling back with that left shoulder, right shoulder, right hand across the right foot. Good, inhale, come back. Right hand to right hip and point the toe. This one we still got to do. Press down the left foot, get tall. 3, 4, 5, exhale, put it down. Whew. Good job. Okay, other side. Right hand to right hip. Left foot comes up, take the big toe. Strengthen that right leg to point the left toe. Good, left foot out, gaze to the right. Stamping down strongly with that right leg. Five, inhale, come back. We don't fold. Take the left hand to left hip, point the toe. Good, exhale. Put it down. Whew. Everyone's favourite. Good, okay. So, Ardha Padmasana. If you're practicing with half lotus, then we take the heel up. Now, again, being careful that we're not putting pressure of the heel against the belly in any way. So, see what you can do. You might want to just stay with your left hand holding your left foot here, right hand coming around to hold left elbow. Now, in first trimester, I could still get it. Yeah, just about. But here, I'm not going to fold. In the first trimester, I was folding with a block, so you can maybe do that, but you don't really have to. and already the bind is enough. You don't want to risk pressing into the belly with the heel. So when you're not pregnant, that's really good for digestion, but not on this occasion. Good. Release. That's enough. Okay. Left foot in. And again, you can maybe stay with the right foot, maybe grabbing the right elbow with left hand. Or if you can get a big toe, grab a big toe. Quite like this half prayer. Standing up tall, stamping the right heel down so that you get tall through the head. Good. Exhale. Let that go. Samastitihi. Warrior sequence. Inhale, take the arms up. Exhale, feet wide, we fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plank. Your choice, knees up or down, chaturanga. Don't let your ego do the work here. Listen to your body, listen to what feels okay. Pressing the feet, again you can use your blocks underneath the thighs. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, knees down. So we don't want to strain the core as we go back. Come back, downward facing dog. Inhale, we step forward for Utkatasana. Here again, taking your block between the thighs. Super good for strengthening the tushy, which you really want during pregnancy. It's going to stabilize your pelvis. Take the arms forward. 5 breaths. Exhale. Fold feet wide as the mat. Inhale. Exhale. Step it back. Your chaturanga, your choice. Inhale, upward facing. Take your time. Exhale, downward facing. Your left heel comes down towards the floor. Right foot steps forward. Drive that left heel down. Here we come up again. Warrior 1, Purvottanasana 1. We can still press the palms, reach the shoulders up. Ground the left heel down. Gaze up to thumbs. If you can, right foot in, left foot out. Ground down the back. Heel, you gaze up. And 5, exhale, Purvottanasana B. So here, if you had a super wide stance before, take it a little bit narrower. You don't want to strain the ligaments around here, around the groin. You can still have a strong 90-degree bend in the front leg, wrap in the back leg, up and in, strong arms. Right foot in, left foot out. Rather, left foot in, right foot out. Hugging everything up and in, tailbone dropping. Exhale, circle the hands to the floor, and we step back. I like to take my foot wide in order to do that. Last chaturanga of the standing series. Exhale. Downward facing dog. Good. So we don't jump through, of course. Take the knees to the floor. Here you can cross your shins and come back to sit. So we come down for Dandasana. So we find again, like usual, the sit bones, engaging the feet, rolling in our thighs towards each other, sending pubic bone forward as much as there is space for the belly to go forward. Taking the hands down and pressing them. So already here, my feet are hip width apart, not together. I'm going to take them even wider in the next one. So here you can find a gentle Jalandhara, gaze to the nose. Lifting up behind the lower back. Strong legs spiraling together. Five breaths. Now take the feet wide. For the first, you get the big toes. If that is available, you can hold on onto the ankles if you can't reach them yet. Press big toes. Inhale to lift the chest. Now here, you definitely want to make sure that you have space for the belly. So you're not going to get a full fold, but you can press the feet into the toes so you're still lengthening across the lower back. It's going to really help, especially if you've got any lower back pain. Shoulders and ears coming away from each other. Inner thighs still strong, spiraling towards each other. So we can't really pull a Mula Bandha up. That's not really what we're going to do, but we're going to use the power of the legs instead. Still using full breath. So notice I'm not even bowing forwards. There's not really any point. I mean, you can a little. Okay, second grip. Again, press the feet. Five breaths here. So third grip is not going to happen, so we'll just come back up. Vinyasa. So how do we do Vinyasa? We're not lifting up. That is a whole Mula Bandha thing. We're not doing that at all. Cross the ankles, roll forward. Take the hands, step back. Now, lots of vinyasas. We're not going to do them between sides. We can find our knees down, chaturanga, upward facing, downward facing. Again, knees down. Cross the ankles. Come forward. Now for Purvottanasana, sometimes not actually recommended during pregnancy. I found it to be okay, but we have a nice variation. You can take the soles of the feet to the floor, hands back. This is also great in strengthening for the hamstrings. So press down the whole foot until the arch lifts, ball of foot, pinky toe and heel, roll the shoulders back, send the hips forward for your reverse tabletop. See if you can tuck the tailbone underneath, inner thighs spiraling towards each other. Feels okay, can try. But proceed with caution again. Exhale, all the way down. Good, Vinyasa. So cross the ankles the other way. Come back. Knees down, if you wish, chaturanga. Inhale. Don't forget the feet. Exhale. Okay. And come down, cross the ankles. Ardha Baddha Padma Paschimottanasana becomes a different thing. Left leg forward, take your right foot up. Now, you could just stay like this. An open thing. We don't want the heel to go against the belly. Depends on your hip mobility. Now, you can just stay there. So today my right hip is not feeling it. I'm not going to risk the heel pressing against. On other days, sometimes it works, but not today. So, that's it. Non-attachment to the physical practice. If you want to engage with that left foot, you can take a strap and loop it around. Because look what we can do with the back here. So even though it's a modified thing with the right foot, with the right leg, you can still stay strong with the left foot. And this is still a forward fold. So we're hinging at the hips. So keep the chest open. Five. Good. Swap it over. So we don't do vinyasas between sides. We can do a dandasana. What you can do also, if it feels okay, is cross the shins, keeping the feet on the ground, using the fingertips. Find a little bit of a lift, not using the pelvic floor. Right foot forward. Now the left heel comes in. Again, I'm not even going to bother with that. If you particularly wanted to, you could use the strap here. But frankly, I'm not attached to this because I know it's going to come back. And that's the thing about pregnancy and doing yoga in your pregnancy. After I've done this other amazing thing with my body, I know that my practice will come back, and that's totally fine. And that's why we practice, because we know that it changes from day to day as Ashtanga practitioners. So it changes from year to year, and that's fine. 5 breaths. Release your strap. Cross the shins. Here we do Vinyasa. Knees up or down, depending on how it feels. You can also actually keep the toes tucked here for a toes tucked upward facing dog, because you can see how it's higher. Pressing the heels back, chest coming forward. Again, quads lifting. Exhale, downward facing dog. Knees down. With care. Pada Paschimottanasana. Right heel comes in underneath you. So again, you can prop yourself with a blanket or a block if you're lifted here. But I'm not going to fold much anyway, so I invite you not to do so either. You can use a strap again. So here you can practice that nice grounding of the hips so that the 2 hips are completely square, pressing down into the top of the foot. Hands pull back on the strap, chest goes forward. Toes lovely and active. So you're still squaring the hips off, still wrapping the knees towards each other, still keeping the chest open. Five breaths. Dandasana, or if you like, that little lift, don't have to. We do the other side. Left foot comes in and under, folding the heel out towards the outer left hip. Take the strap. Good. So left hip wrapping back, knees hugging towards each other, inner thighs hugging towards each other. So you can see doing that like mini Jalandhara here. But since I'm not doing Ujjayi, we don't get that resonance, so it's a very gentle thing. Still breathing through the nose. So if you can still hear the breath, you can still be conscious with your breath, but you can hear it in the nose rather than the throat or the upper chest. Sometimes that habit comes back and you can't stop. Can't help the Ujjayi creeping back in. But you can catch yourself, that's also part of the practice. Good, release. Cross the shins. Vinyasa, step back. Chaturanga, feel free to use the knees. Inhale, upward facing, feel free to use the block. Or again, you can keep the toes tucked if you like. Exhale, downward facing dog. Feet nice and wide. Knees to the floor. Janu Shirshasana A. Now this we can do the same way. Left foot forward, right foot pressing against. Now this depends on, I guess, your hamstring flexibility. If your belly is going to have space and you've got space to get the foot, you can do so. Again, you can use your strap, why not? That's fine. I am going to comfort myself by holding the foot. Oh, foot, how familiar, how close I used to be to you. That's fine. Left hip wrapping back, right foot pressing left inner thigh. Chest pulling forward. Hips grounding down. Good. Inhale. Come back up. Cross shins. Find your lift or indeed Dandasana. How nice it is to not have to do a Vinyasa between 2 sides. Left foot onto the right inner thigh. So there's nice things. Here again you can use your strap or if you've got the foot. But again, my belly isn't pressing against the thigh. But you can still do the work of the legs. left outer edge of the foot pressing down, right hip wrapping back, chest going forward. So we're still not looking for this thing. So if you get the foot and it looks like that, that's not cool. You can either hold on to the shin or use your strap. Use this time to build good habits in the places where you can. Keep it nice and simple. 5 breaths, cross the shins, Vinyasa. So you can vary between the different modifications. Always still maintaining the mindfulness of the Vinyasa. Across the shins. Janusharshasana B. So in B we take the heel to the anus. Now it can feel a little bit like, oh my goodness, on your pelvic floor right now. So if that is the case, just give this a miss. Just do Janusharshasana A again. But it feels okay. You can go ahead and come forward. Stay here for 5 breaths. Good. Release. Cross the shins, find that lift. Feet remaining on the floor, or you can do Dandasana. Right foot forward, left heel in, lifting yourself up to shift forward. So you come on heel to anus on this side. Good. Again, keeping high and open with the chest. And lovely and active with that right foot. Good. Come back off. Vinyasa. Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing, chest forward. Exhale, knees down, downward facing. Janusharshasana C. So here we take the toes to the floor, heel facing up. Now obviously, ordinarily, the heel wants to press into the belly. Now here I don't want to do that, so I'm just going to stay high. I'm still going to work on the flexibility of the foot and the hip here, but I'm just going to stay way back. Good. Okay. It can be Dandasana, it can be the lift, the mini lift. Then we take left toes to the floor, heel facing up. Again, I'm going to stay high. Don't want anything pressing against your belly at all. Release. Vinyasa. Take those hands forward. Your Chaturanga of choice and upward facing of choice. Exhale, downward facing dog. Marichyasana A. So, here we get into things where we're getting close to the belly. So we're going to be careful. Take that foot wide. So you can see I've got plenty of space here for this little bundle of love. And again, it is going to depend on your flexibility. If the knee comes in and gives you a squish, if that is what needs to happen for the arms to bind. So my bind is a lot looser than it used to be because I don't want to squeeze in. And I can't, frankly. But either way, whether you're binding or not, you can still press that foot down and you can stay up like this. Because then you can practice that openness of the chest. Left heel driving down. Pulling the left hip in, left thigh bone into the hip socket. If it is available and it feels okay, you can do this, or again, you can use your strap. That foot is way wider than it would be usually. 5 breaths, good. Find your Vinyasa variation. Then here we come on to the other side. Plenty of space. Don't risk it. If in doubt, leave it out, right? So if you're in doubt, you can stay high. Pull your shoulders back and down. Press the left heel down into the floor. Wrap your right toes up towards your face. Right inner thigh coming up and in. Curiosity makes me want to see if I will get the bind. But let it be curiosity rather than forcing. Good. Vinyasa. Come forward. Chaturanga. Inhale. And exhale. Knees down. Marachasana B. So, half lotus. No. What I've been doing is taking the heel to the outside edge of the hip and then stepping the right foot in front of it. So it kind of looks like Marachasana B. But you're not doing half lotus because that's a squish into this, right? So here you can stay. You can interlace the fingers, lengthen the spine. Drive that heel down so you can see that activity that happens around here. You're still working those hips. You can see whether there is space for this, and we're still on the outside, or rather on the inside of that right shin. Chest is open, that helps the belly to have space. Good. It's a nice variation. Dandasana. Then the other side. Right foot comes into left hip. Left foot stepping in front of right. Or you can put it on the outside actually even of that foot. Like this. Feet next to each other. Experiment with what feels okay for you. You don't have to be precise, right? This is pregnancy, Ashtanga is not like rigid. Absolutely the opposite. So again, you can see if that bind is something that you want to do today. The purpose of some of the postures changes, you know. So here I'm more interested in grounding my left heel, creating openness across the shoulders, because the shoulders can get quite tight. Vinyasa. Chaturanga. Inhale. Exhale. Take the knees to the floor. Now, when I go to a lead primary or if I practice with other people, I will probably just do Marachasana. When others are doing Marachasana C and D, I'll just do A and B again. But since we're practicing pregnancy yoga together and we're pregnant, we're just going to throw them out the window. So, what comes after Marachasana? Navasana. Now, we don't do core work. We don't want to split our rectus abdominis. But we want to do something a wee bit. Now, what you can do, so we're not coming up into full Navasana. Knees are hip width apart. Now here again, you can do that same thing like in Utkatasana and place a block between your knees. I've got it this away because I've got a belly now, quite a big one. Hands can come behind the shins so you can find that lift. So the back is still working. Hip flexors are still working. Navasana is a combination of, well, hip flexors are part of the core, but we don't want to be working this, okay? So maybe if you like, you can take the hands forward. You can maybe lift one leg at a time. But again, listen to your body, please. You can do that many lift. But really this is just like minimal variation of it. This is not the core work that you want to be doing during pregnancy. It's much more useful to do things in a tabletop shape. I have another video where I talk about that stuff. Let's do a 3. So you can do block squeezing. 2, 3, 4, 5. Mini lift, Vinyasa. Frankly, the chaturangas are enough core work, I would say. Downward facing dog. So obviously in pregnancy, I'm just going to do a half primary today with this. If you had previously practiced after Navasana, so Bhujapindasana I just skipped. I did Malasana and Bakasana. Same with Kurmasana, you can do like a yin style butterfly. Give it a miss, why not? So let's move straight to back bending. Curtsy off to the side. Take your feet hip width apart. So we begin with a bridge, Setu Bandha Shavasana. Take your hips forward towards the heels and come to lie down. Oh, that feels nice on the pelvis. Okay, so here we check out that we can see the heels on the outside edges of the hips. Press down the balls of the feet, press down the toes. Here, press down the hands. So, balls of the feet, the big toes, the pinky toes, and the heels press down. Inner thighs spiraling towards each other. Take a breath in. As you exhale, posterior pelvic tilt. So, draw the tailbone down towards the heels. The bottom of your tushy is going to lift up off of the floor. Then reassert the connection with the balls of the feet. Then as you inhale, you can start to lift the hips parallel. So we want to draw a line from shoulders to hips to knees. Now again, press the balls of the feet to engage inner thighs. I don't advocate squeezing the glutes strongly. I advocate finding a pelvic tilt and finding an inner thigh engagement. Interlace the fingers. If it's available, you can either keep the hands pressing or interlace the fingers underneath you. That helps you to get more lift. Oh, feels nice to lengthen across the front of the hip flexors after all that forward flexion of the hips. Breathe into the chest. Lifting the hips forward, knees aiming forward, keeping pressing both feet into the floor. Exhale, we unravel upper back, then middle back, then lower back. Here, take the feet wide and let the knees knock in. Now, what about Urdhva I practice Urdhva during pregnancy. However, I'm not going to teach it right now because I would like you to be sure that that's something that you're doing together with your teacher. And it's only something that you would be doing if you're already really confident and in it, you know. So if it's something that you're confident with, you can go ahead and do it. But be careful, right? You don't want to stretch too much across the front of here. But you want to think about lengthening across the front of the hip flexors. Letting it not be a stretch of the lower belly. Letting it be more about the legs. So it's that posterior pelvic tilt. So we can practice the same thing again in the Setu Bandha Shavasana. So press, draw the tailbone down. So the pubic bone coming towards you forward. Then you press down the feet again. Then you find that lift again. You can interlace the fingers. Think about lengthening front of hip flexors. Let the throat still be open. Exhale, unravel. Good. Here you can take the knees in. So I'm going to do 2. And obviously we don't roll through Chakrasana or anything like that. That's definitely a possibility. You can just come off to the side. Shift the hips back. We can go ahead and find our Paschimottanasana here. Knees and legs wide. Hook the fingers around the big toes if that's available, or you can get the outside edges of the feet, reach the chest forward. Lengthen the breath here. Use the feet and the legs to draw yourself forward. So we can lengthen that lower back. Inhale, come back up. Okay, Vinyasa. Exhale. So, shoulder stand, Salambacharangasana, not really recommended, and I have felt like I definitely don't want to do it since day one of being pregnant. So, I have a couple of variations for you. Basically, Viparita Karani is a fab thing to do, and you can do it either here. It's still an inversion, or you can give yourself a nice treat and do it at the wall. This is generally a good thing to do. So I haven't really had the whole ankle swelling and feet swelling thing, but if you do have that, you can comfort yourself in a beautiful way by taking your legs up the wall. This is a lovely thing to do before bed as well. So as you can see here, we start to get into a more chilled out mode for finishing. Because finishing sequence is a lot of inversions, which we basically are not going to do. It's a nice time to maybe connect with your baby. Mine is currently kicking after all of that activity. So that's the variation for Sharavangasana. Now, Halasana. I just discovered, only like last week, an amazing variation for Halasana, because you just can't take your feet over your head. It's just not possible. So if you have a bolster, from your legs up the wall, press the feet against the wall to lift your hips up. Then you can place your hips on a bolster here. And then you can let the feet just dangle, and then you can let the arms come over, and then you've still got the pressure on the upper back here. You can let the knees come wide. I really miss Halasana. So it can be like this. As you can see, I'm still leaving space. It's not a graceful thing, but you know, that's fine. Come to terms with that. There's a bunch of stuff about being pregnant that's not graceful. Oh, it feels so nice. So, what to do if you don't have a bolster? Obviously, you can pile up a bunch of blankets. I wonder if the blocks would work for this. Blocks also work quite nicely for a slight elevation of the hips. But if I show you, if I show you from this angle, I'm still not going that high, even with the bolster. Oh, it feels so nice. So it's not really that much of an elevation, but it just feels really good. So you can just pile up a tower of cushions to make your Halasana support here. So obviously, Karna Pindasana and Pindasana, no, because there's no way. But you've got your own Garbha, your own embryo in the womb going on there anyway. That's Karna Pindasana, that's here. Anyway, so here we are. Then you can take your knees in towards the chest. Matsyendrasana. You can go straight into it. So, take your feet long. Obviously, we can do it without the Lotus. Press the elbows down into the floor and come up. From here you press the elbows down to lift the chest up. Point the toes so the inner thighs spiral towards each other. Here you lift the chest and the head draw back. Powerful, strong legs wrapping towards each other. Ground you down as the chest lifts. Exhale, chin to chest. From here, roll off to the side. This is what our Chakrasana looks like. A roll to the side. Good. If you really want, you can do Vinyasa. Okay, so otherwise, for headstand Shirshasana, again, I've been practicing it. I have a stable headstand in my regular practice, but I don't even take the legs up to the ceiling. So, if that's you, again, same story like Purvottanasana, you can go ahead and do it. Otherwise, you can just practice that upper body strength by taking your head to the floor. Towards the floor, pressing down with those elbows so that the shoulders are engaging. So already this is like a headstand prep. So that when you want to come back to your Shirshasana later, also like technically your hips are over your head a little, so still an inversion. That's fine. For Balasana, for child's pose, take your knees wide. So the belly comes between them. Here as the arms come forward, if it feels good, what can be quite nice is to take a block underneath the forehead to let that rest. Let the shoulders wrap away from the ears, let your body descend into the floor. Inhale, come all the way back. Here we simply curtsy off to the side. Baddha Padmasana is totally also out of the question. So we can just find a full Padmasana if that is in your practice. Again, being careful that the heels don't come into contact with your belly or don't put pressure on your belly. You can practice a half lotus, taking the right foot in and letting the left foot rest. Or, of course, you can just cross the shins and sit like this, making sure your spine is long. But here, we can simply sit, lengthen the spine. Take Chin Mudra, let the arms be long, fingers strong. Here we can find that gentle Jalandhara. Be careful that it doesn't automatically make you do Mula Bandha. Gaze to the nose. Long, deep breaths here. That's 5 breaths. So, Uplutihi we do not do, even a little bit. Thank goodness for that. Uncross the lotus and cross your shins. Step yourself back. Vinyasa. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing dog. Look forward to the front of the mat. Step your feet forward. Come all the way up to stand. Samastitihi. Here we'll chant the closing mantra before lying down. So bring your hands to the chest. Posterior prajabhyah paripalyantam nayena margena mahi mahishaha go ramanebhyah shubhamastu nityam loka samasta Sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. So for Shavasana, while pregnant, especially after about the second trimester, you don't really want to be lying on your back, so you don't want to compress the vena cava, and you'll know if it's not right because you'll start to feel nauseous and a bit dizzy. So what we can do for that is you can either come to lie down on your left side. Now this is where you can get super cozy. Come down to lie down on your left side. You can take a cushion for your head. And you can take a little block for your arm to rest on. Now, I'm not a huge fan of that myself, personally. You might like it. I quite like to use a bolster. And you can use a bolster on top of a block so that it's propped up a wee bit. Maybe even like this. Rolled up blanket underneath your knees so that the lower back release into the floor. Staying elevated, and here you can let the chest and the upper body relax. So this is where I'm going to sign off. I invite you to stay here as long as you wish. Take this time to let the body rest. It's doing so much for you. For you and your new person that's going to come into the world soon. So let these few moments of rest be a time where you can particularly connect with your breath, with the interior of your body, your inner experience, and even with your little person who's there inside you.